All right, moving right along to Return of the Living Dead 3. Now, if you watch my channel enough, you know and probably expected me to talk about how hot Melinda Clark is in this movie, and I'm not going to disappoint you. This girl is to die for, as it suggests up here. I think that if I showed this picture right here to somebody and was like, isn't she hot? They would probably want to have me evaluated. But they have to see it in context. They have to see her progression throughout the film, because when this movie starts, she is seriously one of the hottest women ever. She's perfect. Like, I am in love with that girl. She is so beautiful. So now that that's kind of out of the way, of course I'm going to bring her up again in here. Let's be real. Let's try to move on a little bit. Now, this movie is directed by Brian Yuzna. I'm a big Brian Yuzna fan. I mean, his obvious movies like Reanimator and Society and whatnot. Like, yes, I like those. But I'm also a big fan of stuff like Silent Night, Deadly Night 4, and his segment in Necronomicon and stuff like that. So Yuzna, anytime Yuzna is involved, I know I'm going to get some really cool, unique, interesting practical effects and some wild visuals, and I just really like the dude a lot. So it's fitting that he did this. It's so his film. I think if I watched this movie and I didn't see the director, I'd be like, Yuzna have anything to do with this? Certain elements, certain practical effects. I was just like, this is very Yuzna to me. So, is that how you say his name? Probably not. So yeah, this one is set in a secret research facility, which makes sense. I mean, I don't feel like we could have just done yet another trioxin gets loose and in a graveyard and there's rain. Like, come on, like, you can't do that 3 movies in a row. I mean, you could, but you shouldn't. So the fact that the government is trying to weaponize it, that they're using it on dead bodies to try to bring them back, a universal soldier, basically. Which I think this is about the same time. I want to say this is like 92 and Universal Soldier was like 91, 92. Like, so it was like very similar. Clearly different movies, but the same idea behind that. Secret soldiers who can't be killed because they're zombies. Which I think that if something like this existed, the trioxin existed, absolutely. There would be countries trying to weaponize this to try to make soldiers that couldn't die, who could just be thrown back on ice and put away for the next thing, and send them in to take out, and there's no loss of lives, really, like on their side. These people are already dead. So it makes sense, but I think that they're obviously not really thinking this through, because then if they kill somebody, they become a zombie too. So you're just spreading the problem. So it's not really thought out all that well in Return of the Living Dead 3. That's not the case in Universal Soldier. They're just killing them with guns and whatever, so that's different. Maybe they were going to weaponize them in a different way. They put Riverman in this like biomechanical suit at the end. He's almost like a fucking RoboCop or something. So maybe they were going to house them and lock up their ability in mouth, and they were going to try to train them to use guns because they do have cognitive abilities to think. I'm not sure why they wouldn't just turn on them because they're being held like prisoners and slaves, but they do drill stuff into their head. I don't know. I'm overthinking it as usual. So they steal his dad's card, and they sneak onto the base because Julie is a thrill seeker, adrenaline junkie. She talks Kurt into doing some wild stuff. His dad's not happy with his choices, and I'm sitting there like, dude, have you seen your fucking kid's girlfriend? Like, every dude on earth would do the dumbest shit to get with this girl. So I completely understand what they're getting at. And something I found weird in this movie is they reference a chemical leak, like a trioxin leak, in 1969. I found that line to be very odd, because the first film and the second film did not take place in 69. In the first film, they the main dude references that the Night of the Living Dead is based on real events, that this happened, and they covered it up, and these guys were trying to make the movie, George A. Romero and all these guys made that film based on the real events. Night of the Living Dead came out in 1968. So I'm not honestly sure about that line. That's very odd to me. I think it would have made a lot of sense if they said in 67. They could have just taken it back 2 years. It wouldn't matter. It's just a bit of dialogue. It's like two little itty bitty, like it's super quick, nothing to it. Just tweak it. So I'm confused by that line there. Is that them trying to attempt to talk about the Night of the Living Dead connection? Because it can't be. I mean, even back then, it would have been easy to find out when that movie was made. Do they reference 69 anywhere else in this series? I don't see it. Any Return of the Living Dead fans out there who can correct me on this, but Night of the Living Dead 68, there's no disputing that. So I'm really confused by that line. I just thought maybe that was supposed to be a nod to Night of the Living Dead, and with that, kind of giving some validity to that guy's story from the first movie. But I guess not. So I don't know. That just kind of took me by surprise when I heard it. And now in this movie, they have a special gun that when shot into the reanimated corpse, it freezes their brain so that they can be put back into storage. They will return to life, but they'll be locked up, and then they can be taken out later for further use. One line that's very weird in this as well is when they bring that first guy back to life, and Julie and Kurt see that happen, and the dad's down there in the console, and then the guy's got his outfit on, he attacks all the doctors, whatever. They shoot him in the head with the projectile that freezes his head, and in that moment, it shows that he flatlines. They're like, okay, flatline. So that can't be his heartbeat, because we know in the last two films, which they don't really acknowledge except for outside of trioxin, but trioxin, like 245, is that what it's called? I can't remember the numbers. But we know they don't have heartbeats. Like the Tom Matthews and the other guy, like Ed, they don't have heartbeats. None of them do. They're dead. They're dead. Now, is that brainwave activity? Because as I said, they are still up there mentally. Is that what that was? Because if that was a heartbeat, that makes no sense. If their brain is active, that does make sense. But if their brain is active, then why, once the body is, once the head's detached from the body, does the body still move? Like, if your circuitry's firing up there, and that's what's giving your body the ability to come back to life, because that's what shuts down, and they're like, it's dead. But that's not true from the other films. Like the other films, even when the head has been severed, the body's still moving. It's like every cell has been regenerated or renewed or whatever. Reanimated, sorry, that's the word I was looking for. I was like spacing on it there for a second. But like every bit of their body has been reanimated. And so that doesn't make any sense for this. And of course, as I said, I always overthink things, and it doesn't really matter. But I thought that was odd that they even did the flatline thing, because that really just doesn't line up either way in my head. So maybe I'm flatlined up here right now. Maybe I'm an idiot, but it just, yeah. Why did they find out in this, they say in this one that the reason that they eat brains is because they get electricity from the neurons within the brain. That's their energy source, I suppose. Why the doctor puts his fingers in that fucking thing's mouth after they take, why would they take the bite guard off for any reason ever? Like while he's in the facility, while he's a prisoner there, while he's a test experiment, whatever, why ever take that out of his mouth? That is so dumb. I get it. It's part of the movie. He needed to be bit. All that. I get that. Don't get me wrong. But just from a writing standpoint, I always sit there like, but there's no reason to take that out. That makes no sense. That's so stupid. And then to then stick your fingers into his mouth, what was he trying to do? Did he see something in there? Do you think it was like a Cracker Jack box? He was going to pull out a little special prize? Like, what reasoning could there possibly be? So that just, it irked me a little bit. It's silly and it's a stupid, it's not a stupid movie, but it's a silly movie, should I say. So I shouldn't care, but it annoyed me. And then I just have tits written down here with an exclamation point. You can see how adult my notes are. Oh my God, I need to grow up. But yeah, for anyone who wants to know who hasn't seen this movie, are we going to see this girl, Julie's tits, Melinda Clark? Yes, we are. A bunch. And they're amazing. So there you go. I'm the perv as usual. Unsubscribe anytime you'd like. The dad wants to move and the kid's just not having it. He's like, absolutely not. I'm fucking staying here. Like, as I said before, like, have you seen my girlfriend? Like, I'm not leaving. That ain't happening. I'm totally on his side on this. So they decide to run away together. And I guess he makes that decision for both of them. I don't know if this is something they've been talking about before, but they get on the bike and she's like, yeah, it's going to be like a week before my mom even realizes I'm gone. So she's like instantly in it. Like she's down. She's ready to rock and roll at any moment. I need to find myself a chick like that. You guys got anybody? Leave me some comment. No, I'm just kidding. I'm going to use this as a dating site now. Let's see. And then they wreck. And Julie flies off and she hits the telephone pole and breaks her spine. And somehow when he takes her to the facility to bring her back, she doesn't have a broken spine anymore. She says she has a headache and like that she's numb everywhere. But that's what I'm saying. Like, that is why I'm saying like the rest of her body becomes reanimated. That she doesn't need to have a connection to her spinal cord, which would be sending messages from her brain. So the flatline thing doesn't make any sense. It doesn't need to be part of this. Like it would shut down the mouth, the mind, but the rest of the body would still be moving and convulsing around and trying to attack, like in both of the other films. And even in this film a little bit as well. There's people who have no brains, like that the liquor store owner, which I'll get to. His brains are completely eaten out of his head by Julie, and he comes back and attacks people. So he has no brain at all. So why flatlining brains shuts them down to death, or immobility doesn't make any goddamn sense. I want to talk to the writer. Get me his number. I'm gonna talk to him. So he can tell me to fuck myself and hang up. I wouldn't blame him. Dad isn't there coming to visit. Yeah, so somehow he gets on the base 2 different times by being like, oh, I'm here to visit my dad. This is like the worst security I've ever seen. His dad isn't even on the premises. His dad's being transferred. He just had a huge fuck up where they're like, all right, like, we're done with you. Like, your project didn't work. You got, like, 2 of our doctors killed. Like, you need to go. And for somehow his dad lives in, like, this mansion. Like, did you see the house in the front? It has, like, these big stone pillars and all. Looks like Caesar's palace. I don't know how the fuck he affords that. They must be paying him damn well. But he gets moved and whatever, and he comes up to the gate, and the guy at the security gate, and this is supposed to be like, I mean, they basically have like a plague in there. They have, they have Armageddon sitting behind that door. And these guys are just like, whatever, go on through. And he somehow props his girlfriend up. She has no arms around him, nothing. I mean, how he got her to stay there around his body, yeah, sure. So he carries his girlfriend into this like private, heavily guarded facility, clearly, and brings her back to life. And they get out of there, and immediately she's just starving. And before they get out of there, sorry, there's this, God, the special effects, the FX, the creature effects, all that stuff is fan-fucking-tastic. I love it so much. And one of the best ones is the creature that's attacking Julie in right after she's brought back, and it's like head almost looks like Belial from Basket Case. It's all like, it's all full of skin all the way down to its shoulder, and it's just like, and then it like rips away from itself, and the face peels away from that, and it's just like a head by itself, and half the face is ripped off skin. It's such a cool effect. God, I love it so much. So I had to bring that up. There's a couple other ones I'll bring up here as well, but that one was just that first wow moment. Like, whoa, that special effect was incredible. Holy shit, I need more of that stuff in my life. Then they go into the liquor store to try to get Julie food because she doesn't know what the hell she wants. She's like, I'll know it when I eat it. Of course, it's going to be human. But there's these like vatos that are playing video games. I don't think I've ever seen that. They're like egging the guy on, like, come on, man, like beat the game. If we would have left forever ago, we wouldn't be on level 7 right now. I've never seen, a Mexican gang like this so, into fucking video games, but hey, whatever. They're into what they're into. And they end up shooting the clerk because they're like, well, fuck it. We'll just rob the place while this guy's kicking us out and distracted. They get caught. They shoot the liquor store owner and then decide to just leave the witnesses behind, but then come back for them because they bit one of their friends. Like, that is so stupid in so many levels. Like, they just probably killed this guy. There's only 2 witnesses there who were already starting trouble with them and they wanted to beat the shit out of a minute ago. But now they're just going to be like, see you around. And then the only thing that they do is, fuck up their bikes so that they can't run after them? Like, they're not going to do that. Like, it's just payback for getting in their way and pushing the guy. Like, they would have shot them. And they come back to kill them anyways. So it's just like they don't have any qualms with hurting people. They just shot a liquor store owner. They don't even seem that miffed about it. And they clearly don't want to get caught. That's why they're running out of there before the police get there. So why not just shoot Kurt and Julie? That is so stupid to me. But it does happen, and so on. So we got to get over it. Then that poor liquor store owner, man, like when the cops are arriving, he's like, help me, like take me to the hospital. And the cops show up. He's like, you know what? Never mind. Like, let me out. And they're just like, nope. And the cops start shooting at him because they're wanted. And they're on a shoot to kill kind of thing basis. And the liquor store owner's like outside of the van, like, no, please don't shoot me. Don't shoot me. Like, don't. And then they blow his head off. And then Julie goes back there and eats his brains, which then turns him into a zombie. Which, I don't know, like, I don't know why he turns into a zombie. I mean, I guess she could have been eating his body, which his blood, this is overthinking everything, of course, but like, his blood wouldn't be flowing, so her biting him wouldn't spread the disease, so I'm not exactly sure why, like, but the same thing would be said of the gas, like as it like spreads over the body. I guess it like seeps into the body all around and that's what brings everything back. But like she's just eating the brains that are laying in the van. Like why he comes back. I mean, she must have had to dig around in there and then like ate onto his body. And then that bite, even though he was dead, somehow circulated through his body. Or maybe it just like starts here and then it like works its way down. Once it like reanimates here, then it starts reanimating through the rest. There you go. I guess that's the explanation I'll come up with. But I figured like biting a dead body like that, I don't know, like, because it's not like The Walking Dead where it's like everyone's infected. So once they die, they turn. No, this is not like that. Like people are dead. They're dead unless that triaxin somehow got into their system. But I feel like the only way it could get into their system is if they were alive for a bite to get through, unless it was the gas form, which he didn't have. Okay, I've went on about that enough. But I don't know. I see so many, so many things. I can't help but point them out. But the liquor store owner, oh my God, that scene where he's attacking the cop and his half head, that is such a great practical effect. It's so fucking creepy looking and awesome. I adore it. So there's another great one. And then Julie decides that she wants to kill herself, because Kurt tells her she's disgusting, what the hell she's done. And, she didn't ask to come back, and this is what's happening to her. And so she decides to jump off of a bridge. And this is when Riverman comes into the film, and he's like, I've seen people kill themselves before. He's trying to talk to him. And then he sees that she's alive. And so he tries to help him out. The Mexican gang members are chasing him through the sewers. And she then decides, like, pain is the only thing that keeps her mind off of hunger. And earlier in the movie, we see she's kind of already into pain already, because she's like holding a lighter to her hand. She kind of almost gets off on it. There are people out there who, their circuits are crossed and they find pain pleasurable. So I don't know if she's finding it pleasurable to stick all this stuff through her body, or if the pain itself is just distracting her mind from the hunger itself. Clearly, it doesn't seem to work for very long. It's only a very short-lived experience, but then she goes out and she fucks all these guys up. She rips the one, main dude, Santos, I think is his name. She rips his head out, and his like spine is out. Reminds me of Dead Alive or Brain Dead, Peter Jackson's, with the uncle who comes out and his head's like elongated from his body. I have to imagine that's where Brian Yuzna came up with that gag, because this is around the same time. Oh, wow, I wonder. I want to say Brain Dead's like a year or two before this. So he probably just saw that. I don't know if he ripped that off or not. That'd be a good question. It's still cool. I always like to see it regardless. It actually kind of happens it happens in Evil Dead as well. So that's probably where Peter Jackson got it. There you go. So everyone's ripping off everybody, now that I'm thinking about it. And poor Riverman, another character. I mean, I think he gets it the worst here because he is so against taking Julie with him. And Kurt's like, no, man, like, we're all getting out of here alive. You take her ass with you. And he's like, fuck. And he picks her up. And then they come in and Julie is eating him. And she's like, not him. And it's like, what the fuck did you think was going to happen? This chick cannot contain herself. She cannot keep herself from doing this shit, dude. So this is where I think he basically, like, because then once he sees this, he lets the zombies come up and basically let them eat him. The dad comes in and saves him, but he gives into it and he just stands there and he lets the guy bite into him. But he doesn't. He's about to bite into him. And so that's the moment where he's just like, this is all my fault. I'm going down with this, which he ends up eventually doing, obviously. But that's the moment where he's dead. Like, he just dies in that moment. Like, I know I fucked up. I shouldn't have done this. This is all my fault. All these people are dead because of me. And that sets up this romantic, awesome ending that this movie has. But yeah, like later on, we get to see Riverman, and he's being experimented on. He's in all this awful pain, and then he's gonna attack Kurt and Julie, and he stops because Kurt's like, Riverman, like, remember me. And he stops and he helps them, and it's like, you're the motherfucker that got me into this. I trusted you before, and you got me killed. And here we go again. He trusts him, like, he helps him again, and that's what gets him killed again. Although he probably want to die at this point, but still, it's just like, why would he help him? Like, I get it. Like, he's a good guy, and we see that, but it's like, dude, come on. This guy's fucked you over. I would not blame him if he would have ripped his ass apart there. Kurt also does the whole, like, hold him, go, run, I'll hold them off. When Riverman's like, I'll do it, he's like, no, you take my girlfriend. You take your girlfriend, motherfucker. Like, I would rather sit here with the zombie door than pick up that chick and have her close to my head. Like, you're out of your mind. So it was such a dumb idea. Like, no, you help him. I hate the whole, like, I'll hold him back thing. It never works anyways in any movie ever. But in addition to that, it's like, this is your responsibility. You get up and you take Julie, get the fuck out of here. Like, I ain't doing it. So, yeah. And, oh man, the dad, I mean, as much as a dick as the dad is kind of in throughout the movie, like, him having to leave his son, like, he has the fire extinguisher, stuck in between the gate, and he's, like, propping it open. He's like, come on, son, like, she's gone, or, like, and the kid's already been bitten, but leaving your son behind in that situation, and oh my God, no fucking way. I couldn't do it, man. So just, I felt bad for him in that moment. And then, yeah, and then they decided to burn themselves alive, which is what one of the dudes did in the first one. But, like, the heroicism of this, like, them doing that, like, I get it. They want to die. They don't want to be around anymore. They don't want to be those monsters any longer. But to burn yourself alive when you can still fully feel it and everything, wow, no fucking way. No thank you. No, no, no. But it does set up for a very romantic and kind of, beautiful moment of, like, we're going to burn together, baby. Like, we're going down together. Then they just do. That's it. Like, we watch them just in there, and they are put in the incinerator, and credits. Like, it's a romantic ending, if you will. So I love it. It's such a good movie. It's so fun. Julie is so goddamn hot. I can't say it enough. It's a tad cheesy for sure, but the whole series is. So I know there's a bunch of big fans of this movie, so definitely I expect to see a lot of love in the comments below for the movie. For me, whatever. I don't need it. I'd love it. Go ahead. All right, I'm going to stop rambling. All right, guys, I'm going to go watch Return of the Living Dead Necropolis. Is that how you say that? I don't know. We'll see. I haven't seen it in forever. All right.